Hey guys, Jacob here. It is March 29th, 2022. This is going to be this week's vendor reset. As usual, we're going to be starting at the front desk vendor in DC and making our way all the way to New York at the last two vendors in Haven. The front desk vendor in DC this week is selling the Zeros F Badger Tough chest piece with Perfectly Unbreakable. Obviously, it's not going to be good like the Perfect Glass Cannon chest piece we got last week, but if you guys are trying to find one of these, I would recommend picking it up or farming loot allocation areas to find a better one, because personally I think this one is not worth the pickup unless you've been struggling really hard trying to find one. And the weapon handling, in my opinion, isn't worth it, neither is the skill haste. The skill haste, obviously, you can roll, but I feel like you're going to be losing out on damage or even armor regen with the weapon handling being there. The next item is going to be this Tactical Vector SBR 9mm. This has Optimus on it already, damage charts out of cover, and then you could obviously optimize critical hit chance, or even roll the critical hit chance higher and then optimize the SMG damage, and you have a pretty solid vector. In my opinion, this is one of the first times I've seen a vector for sale in the vendor that's actually somewhat decent. For some reason, I've never seen one for sale that has rolls like this. Next is going to be this FAL SA58. I know some people are still loving the FAL, so if you guys are looking for one, this one obviously doesn't have the god roll stats that most people want, but you can get rid of critical hit chance and put something like critical hit damage, damaged armor, damage charts out of cover, and you could make this work pretty well. I'm going to scroll through the rest of these items in case you guys need any of the stats, or even the rolls, or talents, or even any of the mods for some of the items. That's going to be it for the front desk. We're going to go under the helipad as usual, and then go through the double white doors that has the clan quarter sign. Shout out to DOD and Kamikaze Von Doom. Take it right here, and this is the clan quarters. This week he's selling the Pyromaniac. This one is a little better than some of the Pyromaniacs I've seen for sale. You can get rid of the accuracy and put something else on there like damage charts out of cover or damage to armor, and then I would recommend picking this up. It will cost you 15,000 credits, of course, because the named items and gear are a little more pricey than your standard items. I'm going to scroll through the rest of these items in case you guys need any of the stats on them or the rolls. They are selling a 612 max shotgun damage and headshot damage, so if you guys are looking for both those rolls, then I would recommend grabbing them. But other than that, that's really for sale this week, except the 511 backpack, of course, that has max critical hit chance if you guys need that. And overall, 511 is not really a set I know a lot of people use, but I know they're going to be reworking a lot of things supposedly in the next update. Obviously, they reworked Striker and made it somewhat way better than what it was because no one was using it, so maybe 511 actually might get changed or flipped around, and this might be a piece worth picking up because, one, it already has armor on it, and you have critical hit damage and critical hit chance, and you can get rid of Energize and put something else on there to your liking. So for future purposes, this might be worth picking up because who really knows what they're going to be doing to 511 in the future. It could stay the same or it could change.
Great dealing with you.
Then we have the theater settlement, which is going to be on the right side of the map. Usually I put a cut here in between, but due to how fast the Xbox Series X is, it's actually a little more of a hassle to put the cut in instead of just fast traveling over here, as you guys can see. This week he's selling the Storybrae. The rolls on this are pretty low. Other than that, he's selling your basic high-end gear if you guys need any of this stuff. But other than that, that's going to be about it for the theater settlement. Next, we have the campus settlement, which is currently invaded at the moment. And for a while, when this happened, you actually could not access the vendor, which was a massive pain in the ass. But now, they fixed that ages ago. Now you can just run in here and access the vendor. Go all the way down here on this brick path, and then take a left. You will see the vendor right here.
Come here and take a look.
This week she's selling the Commando. Obviously, you guys probably have tons of these, but if you are looking for one, this one obviously has damage charts off cover on it, which is better than some of the ones I've seen. But if you don't have it, I would recommend grabbing it. It will cost you 15,000 credits though, or you can find loot allocation areas to find a better one. That's really going to be about it for the campus settlement. But if you guys need any of this stuff, I would recommend grabbing it. And next, we have the dark zones. We have DC West, South, and East. And if you're not familiar with the currency system in the DZs, you will have to get resources, which can be obtained by deconstructing gear in the DZ into a little bag on your backpack, which is a contamination bag, and then extracting it, and you'll get those resources as they're extracted. Or you can open tiny little boxes scattered around the DZ and get one resource per crate. So if you want to farm in bulk, I would recommend going in there, deconstructing quantities of items and extracting them and get them out. Remember, other players can kill you and take those as well, so You just might want to get 20 at a time and keep extracting so you don't lose them.
Are you looking for something?
This week he is selling the Silver Break shotgun as well as the theater settlement was. This one is pretty much, I think it's close to the same or a little better in some places like the critical hit chance. But in my opinion, you could find or farm these everywhere if you really want to get your hands on one and loot allocation areas. But ask me about it for DZ West. Then we have DZ South, which is down here. The very bottom of the map, which is currently the occupied at the moment. And last week, hopefully you guys picked up the apartment that was for sale. Because for one, last week had a lot of good items that were really worth picking up.
You want it? I got it.
And this week, they are also selling the apartment. This one's obviously not as better or as good as the one last week, but this is 2 apartments in a row. If you guys do not have it from last week, now's the chance to get it. You can pick this up right now. It has magazine size on it, of course, but you can change that to damage charts out of cover or damage to armor, and then optimize the critical hit chance. So, 2 apartments in a row, that's pretty crazy. I've never seen that. But now you guys can go pick this one up if you didn't pick up the one that was for sale last week. I'm going to scroll through a few more of these items in case you guys need them. But overall, that's going to be about it for DZ South. And then finally, we have DZ East, which will be the final dark zone on the list, and also the one that takes a minute to run to, as you guys will see here in a second. Just run all the way down here and take a right. This is where she's at.
Looking for anything
And this week she is selling the new arrival with health damage if you guys need that, and also an SR1 with max headshot damage. But other than that, that's pretty much all she's really selling that's, in my opinion, worth picking up. There are a few items in here that you, obviously, if you don't have them, if you're looking for Eclipse pieces, she is selling those. If you're looking for a Fender's Mask, and you want to have during the stats effect, put critical hit damage and have a triple red mask, you can do so. And for Alps, this doesn't really help you, I don't think, for a Parrish Hill, but if you're trying to make a critical hit damage style healer build, or DPS healer, then you could maybe use this. But overall, that's me about it for DC. Now we're going to be heading over to New York City, which will be the last 2 vendors. As a side note, the New York vendors, if you guys are new, do not sell any named items, so keep that in mind. They do sell pretty much your basic high-end gear. And you just go upstairs and then take a left. This is where the first one will be located. And this week he's only selling max damage to armor on rifles if you guys need that. If you're trying to find anything else or any of these items that you might be able to use, then I would recommend grabbing them. But overall, that's going to be about it for the front desk vendor. And for the last vendor, which is going to be Roy Benitez, who's right around the corner here. It's going to be sitting right here. And this week, he's selling your basic high-end gear as well. No max stats, no named items, of course, because they don't sell them. Nothing really that's worth picking up, in my opinion. But if you need it, then I would recommend grabbing it. But overall, that's going to be this week's vendor reset, and actually the last reset of March 2022. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Division content, and I'll catch you guys all later.
BT!